Okay, hello and welcome. I'm so excited. I got this lovely guest in the house, Victoria Eloise, and I just wanted to tell you guys a couple of things. I'm Jay Cherry. Thank you for tuning in, and I want you guys to share this show. We've got a lot of important stuff to talk about today. Victoria has uncovered a treasure trove of information that you need to know.
Mm.
Before I bring her on, I just want to say you can visit me online at jterrypresents.com where you can make a small donation if you want to support our work. And also, you can follow me on Twitter and YouTube, where the show is also being broadcast. So, hi, Twitter, and hi, YouTube, as well as Facebook. So, I'm going to bring Victoria right on because we got a lot to cover today. And it's so nice to have her on. Hello, Victoria. Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you so much for having me.
So I met Victoria, I don't know how it was, but I'm very thankful that I did just a few short weeks ago. And her posts were blowing my mind away. So she's got so much to talk about. We're going to start with Annie Lamont. But first, Victoria, tell me a little bit about you and how you started to uncover this really important information that all Connecticut people, citizens, need to know about our governor and his wife, Annie, actually.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's people like you that get the word out and are so willing to be honest and put yourself out there. And so you make this kind of doing this easier. So thank you. So how did this happen? It did not start and I'll just do a 1 minute rundown, but it did
Sure.
not start about a Annie Lamont and government corruption pursuit. I got sick while I was working as a psychotherapist. I got sick and I got sicker and sicker as time went on. And while I was in grad school, I was taking 5 classes and waitressing, and that just wouldn't pay the bills. So I got on Medicaid. Never used it, but when I got sick, I needed to use it. We couldn't figure out what was wrong. And the care that I received, the care that all low income persons receive, and that can be anybody. When you lose your job, when you change jobs, when anything, it's not just a certain type of community. Real criminal care. I was witnessing state doctors. Now, mind you, I had just finished grad school, so I knew the laws. I knew about HIPAA, and I knew about a client's right to records, and I knew about all the things that you're not supposed to do as a practitioner. And they were just, it was like common. And I would complain and I would get laughed at essentially. So I ultimately get diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease after about 18 months of this heinous care. And then I informed the hospital that diagnoses me because I was paying out of pocket at that point because of the type of Medicaid care that I was experiencing. And when I informed them that I'm on Medicaid, they dropped me,
Wow.
delete all my records. I was blown away. I tried to go to a lawyer. I tried to go to the attorney general. I
Oh my.
tried to go to the Department of Public Health. I tried to go to the feds. No. So then I knew that I had two choices, right? Die without any care or treatment, or rage against the machine, man. What is going on here? And I did. And so I started digging. I started looking at money, because everybody knows, right? All the money. That's where the good details are. But I would look up. So I started looking at the money of the hospital that diagnosed me and dropped me, which I won't say here, but they are on my Facebook page. And and uh and then I could hundreds of millions of dollars. This 30 in 1 year, 30 million for anesthesia services, 28 million for epic integration, 23 million for for Epic setup. It's like, aren't those the same things?
And that's
And
just one hospital, correct?
yeah,
One hospital, guys. That's what those are numbers for one hospital.
one day, one contract, right?
What?
Yes. And so I would be like, where is this? What? So then I would find where that contract came out of, and it would take me to the Connecticut vendor portal, right? So the state contracting vendor portal. And then I would see something that looked fishy there. And that would take me to the Concord business registry data. And then, and the thing that really made me notice what was going on, how big of an issue, I would look through Concord, which is, and I'm going to post all my sites so that people can, none of this information is opinion. This is their their data, their websites,
Their own data and their own
their own data,
websites.
the state comptroller's website, the Secretary of State website, the Securities and Exchange Commission website. These are real trackable, because I believe that if there's any chance of pushing against people like this, it has to be so clean. Like the research has to, if you're going to put something like Annie Lamont took $784 million and put it in the Cayman Islands the very same week that our DSS, the Department of Social Services, received $781 million. Excuse me. If you're going to claim that, you have to track and so it did. And here I am. Now think about, I'm just one Lou Gehrig's person, no less, no team, no, and I've only been doing this 3-4 months. Imagine how much we would find if a team,
You guys hear that, Connecticut? We need a
right?
team. Let's dig with Victoria's seeds that she's got here growing.
And finally I get to, because it really was just click on this, and that brought me to this, and that brought me to this, so 4 months later, I'm like, does that say Anne Huntress Lamont? Does that say Cayman Islands? And people need a smoking gun, they need a name they can attach stuff to. And when I found
Absolutely.
her,
I'm gonna
I
pull her up. I've got your Facebook page up now. Unfortunately, Victoria isn't seeing the page you guys are seeing, but I'm gonna pull up her Facebook page for you guys on Twitter and YouTube. So I'm gonna share this screen with you guys while Victoria's gonna talk about that. And hopefully your audio is still coming through. Let's see. Can you still hear me, Victoria?
absolutely.
Good, good. And I hope everybody else is hearing her as well. Oh, why is it telling me I'm not able to do that? Oh, why am I not hearing you? I know what I'll do. I'll unplug you here so that way we can hear. Okay, let's see. So I've got up here the Anne Lamont, and here she is. Let me pull up this screen. Let me get on the screen. I'm in the process here so far. So here she is. So tell me about this. Tell me about this first three pictures that the audience is looking at right now, with Annie Lamont and her investments.
Yes. So the May 27th post, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and this has this and this is not an Annie Lamont and a COVID problem. Has been going on for generations, right? These are financial schemes that come from great 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 grandfathers of Connecticut. This is not Annie Lamont's fault, right? She's just a pawn as well, I believe. And so this picture here. So I've noticed that and this is not just the case with Annie Lamont, I notice that whenever something sketchy related to money is about to go on or just went on in our state, they put a little news article out about it. Like, oh, we told the public, we told you guys this was happening. And so this, as if that makes it okay. So this picture on the left here is her obviously, Annie Huntress Lamont. She has several firms. She's a venture capitalist, whatever that is. And the way it works in Connecticut, which is, it is not for our benefit. All one needs to do a $781 or $784 million transfer of government funding, which is so illegal. You cannot use federal aid money for personal profit. It's like you know that. So all you need to do is have a broker like Annie Lamont. The company gets set up in places like Delaware. And I imagine you would know about Delaware and Paul Manafort and how he was arrested for many things. But one of the things was he was running 9 shell companies, a complex network of shell companies out of Delaware. Why Delaware? 2 reasons. No corporate sales tax. Number 2, you are not required in the state to disclose party identities. So you don't have to, a lot of states you have to put who exactly is involved in this financial transaction. You don't have to do that in Delaware. And that is why, I mean, I'm telling you, thousands of these that's what's happening in Connecticut. Exactly what happened with Paul Manafort. Like, exactly. That's what's happening here. So hundreds of these shell companies get registered to Delaware Incorporation. A broker like Annie Lamont just needs to sign off on the paperwork. So it is easier. I read this great article the other day, and they said it is easier to get a library card in Delaware. It is easier to start a business than it is to get a library card in Delaware. And I'd say about 85% of all companies started in Connecticut were registered out of Delaware.
Wow, that's
terrible. So all she has to do, I assume, is go to her husband, be like, hubby, honey, I have this great new idea for blah 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 venture. I have invest blah 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 blah, and he just says, okay. There's 780 million coming in between. This is my opinion, but a well researched opinion. And when your husband is governor of Connecticut, you can do whatever you want. And in this post specifically, they tell you. So the post was on August 1st, 2019. And this article was on August 1st. Is that what it says? Yes, August 1st, 2019. The transfer of Department of Social Services funds took place on July 31st. Wow. 2019. So one day later, and this has happened many times, they will do something heinous, they will take money, and then they'll put out a little fluff piece about it to kind of lay the sketchiness around it. And Oak Healthcare and FinTech is one of her firms, or she is leading managing partner at this firm, which means she can sign checks for anyone. And And in the next picture, you see right there that it says companies that work with Medicaid. And in that same first picture next to the picture of her, they actively use Medicaid money. Actively.
Using Medicaid money. So here's this venture capitalist, right? So and then they're actively using Medicaid money and
yes. And this next, and I know we have quite a few posts to get to, but this is a fabulous example. If you look at the third picture of that, the three pictures, the third one where I underline with me health, this is exactly how it works. With me, and they don't tell you this, but it says through past funds, Oak Healthcare and FinTech invested in With Me Health, a company looking to take on blah, blah, blah prescription. With Me Health is her company that she started out of Delaware. It is a foreign stock entity.
wait,
They
what?
don't. Oh yes,
That doesn't sound legal.
it's not. So they start these companies. They're not really companies. They're shell entities. And they just start funneling. It sounds so unbelievable because it sounds so simple. But it's exactly how it works. Exactly how it works. And you can, and if you go to the next post in that set there, you can look right. The transfer that I'm describing was for $784 million. It's a private pooled equity fund out of the Cayman Islands. Now, on the left here, which is a screenshot of Open Checkbook, which is,
Here,
I don't even know why they set this. Sorry.
Let me just catch up to you over here.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. Okay, guys, sorry about that. And how's the audio going? I'm hoping I thought I had a little problem. No, I'm there again. I wasn't sure if, let me put on you and me and make sure my audio is there. We're both there together when we come back in. Okay, we're both there and I'm seeing you. Good.
I meant next picture, not next post.
So,
Sorry.
okay, I've got that. No, I figured that one out. So, I want to get the audience on there too. So I'm going to share this here. Okay, so here we go. So this is, we're on it. So
okay. So this, I'm sorry, were you going to say something and I just cut you off?
Oh, you go right ahead. They can't even see me over here. Only you could see me.
Okay. So, Open Checkbook. They set these things up in the name of transparency, assuming that we are all idiots and no one's ever going to look at this stuff. And we don't. But it's not because we're idiots. It's because, hello, for 40-hour work weeks, families, kids, no one's going to be going on the state comptroller website or reading an 800-page financial document when they don't even have time for their families. So this is set up. OpenCT and Open Data are in the name. They were set up by the state comptroller and the finances department, the state of Connecticut, and it's literally every single bit of money. About 95% of money coming in and going out of Connecticut. And this is really going to be their downfall. But so I went to Open Checkbook, which is all the companies, vendors, programs, departments, anything associated to money is in Open Checkbook. So I found this SEC, or the securities purchase, this private equity transfer to the Cayman Islands. And I got the date, which was July 31st. And so I went to Open Checkbook and plugged in the dates. And I knew the dates weren't going to be exact. So I think I put in I put in a 30-day. I wanted to see how much came in 1 month. And
that's what?
Can you believe?
That's 1 month. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
$8 billion has come into Connecticut since Lamont's declaration on March 10th. 8 billion. So
Wow.
money, we are hemorrhaging money. People don't know it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yes. We're getting so excited here.
I don't know why that. There we go. So I'm sorry, guys. So you go to open checkbook, okay, and then you can find 95%. Okay, you can hear me now. Sorry about that, guys. I'm getting my head's gonna explode here because
I know, I'm getting like all sweaty. I'm getting so excited and angry at the same time?
Victoria's blowing my mind. So let me just rephrase what I said because folks weren't hearing me. So, excuse my technical glitches here. I'm just she's blowing my mind. So, if you want to learn more about this and you want to participate in helping to expose these things happening in our state, these are the steps that Victoria was taking to find this corruption out. So you could just go to Open Checkbook where they are putting 95% of the state's money is going through. You can see it. And I'm going to click back over here. Hopefully, I don't lose my audio. I'm going to click back over here so you guys can see what Victoria is talking about. And then you can go ahead and you continue explaining that. Sorry to interrupt. This is a big deal.
Oh no, I need a good bit of reeling in every few minutes because I get
This is a
so.
big, big deal. So, Annie, what we're talking about, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about Annie Huntress Lamont. Okay, she is a venture capitalist. She's got her hand in a money pie in Connecticut. I think this is my personal opinion. She made Lamont run for governor so she could do her venture capitalist thing.
She is older than him, and yeah, she was like, I have a great way we can become billionaires, be governor. And that's really how this happens. This is how state public servants, this is not supposed to be their 9 to 5. Okay, they're supposed to be serving the community, and 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 they are just bleeding us dry. And so people like me, patients who have serious illnesses, can't get treatment because people like our governor are stealing all our money, and that's not fair.
That's not fair. That's not fair. And this is an outrage. And so many of our citizens in Connecticut are suffering like this.
Yes, and you don't have to be sick to be suffering this. Like the taxes, the costs of things, what we are last week, 210 in 1 week. This is a small amount. $210 million went to the teachers' retirement system in 1 week.
Week,
Yeah,
week,
1 week, last week.
last week.
That's and so this COVID-19, and that's one thing I want to hit on in a second because that's a real great breakdown of how it works. But with this Annie Lamont, so all you just have to play with the numbers, right? So I noticed that her transfer to the Cayman Islands of $784 million, which I don't even know how much money that is. It happened on July 31st, 2019. So I went to open checkbook, plugged in July 1st to August 1st or August 2nd, I think. Yes. And the total, the DSS the Department of Social Services was given by the federal government the federal government wires Connecticut money into the general fund. The comptroller and the treasurer, they release it to the social services departments, Department of Developmental Services, Department of Social Services, Department of Aging and Disability, and boom, free money. As soon as it gets released into that is the cash cow, these social services businesses. There's no oversight. So all of the money that is supposed to go to the Connecticut Institute of the Blind, the Department of Aging Agency, Developmental Disabilities, WIC, all of this money that's supposed to be going, I mean, billions, $25 billion since January 1st has come into Connecticut. It's actually 26 now, $26 billion in 6 months. Well, where is it? And it gets embezzled, it gets stolen straight out of the programs that are supposed to be protecting us. And so you correlate, I plugged in July 1st to August 1st, August 2nd, and what do you know? $782 million came in to Connecticut to the Department of Social Services from the federal government. So the federal government wired Connecticut a total of 782 million in the month of July. And July 31st, Annie Lamont just has $784 million. Maybe, but that's a lot of money. And that's only 2 million off. Like, those numbers are almost exact. So she gets this money, it cut from the feds, and before it's even, and it's interesting. One of the really interesting points about this, do you see how it says payment status unreconciled?
Yeah.
So that is the case for about 90% of the financial unreconciled. When a federal, or when any check gets to an entity, right? So when the feds write a check to Connecticut for the DSS has to officially clear it once it allots it to the places it was supposed to go. So like I said, the Aging Agency, Institute of the Blind, all these places. But because that money is never making it to the entities it was supposed to, they cannot clear the check. So it sits unreconciled. So it's actually reconciled, just not where it was supposed to go.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so you will see, I mean, there's so many unreconciled payments because the money is not going to the social program it was supposed to. So it's not getting checked in, it's not getting cleared in, so it just sits unreconciled.
And I gotta say, I'm so like confused how they're able to like play with their books like that. Like I'm thinking if I did that with my taxes or like trying to do something like
you
this, my account
it's
would
at
be
your
like,
front door. Like, excuse me, you didn't pay your $11 tax bill. You know, they're all doing it. No, Joe Schmo isn't gonna rat out Annie Lamont when she's getting paid illegally in securities to hide the money. They all hire their own brokers. They all hire their own auditors. I mean, this is a major global network of how the system works. It really sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's not a theory.
no, it's not a theory one. It's true. Look at this, guys. I'm going to pull this back up again. What we were looking at, how you guys can go and check this out yourself. You can go and see it. Open checkbook, and you can go and you can look at what the state is doing. So Victoria has let us know that 95% of what the state's money is where it's coming from it's you can
Yeah,
see.
it's all registered. It's all, what's great about Open Checkbook is so this is that it breaks down things by vendor, by program, by fund. So you can go into health and hospital there. You can type in health and hospitals and it'll take you to the fact that, okay, so since Lamont's declaration on March 10th, health and hospitals have received $2 billion. No, higher education operating funds. But, I know, because Yukon Health Center is, oh, well, a
Okay,
certain health center really is where a lot of the money, they are a operational state hospital, but they're doing a lot of stuff that's not hospitally. Okay, and you will see hundreds of millions of dollars attached to Yukon Health Center for higher education operating expenses. So certain state entities run certain kind of philandering. Every, like, Yale does its own, they have a side piece of stuff. UConn Health does stuff, Harvard Hospital. It's a huge, huge, huge thing. Huge. And this is just one transfer. This is just one. And it's a bummer. It's a bummer. It's beyond. And I'm sorry to all the Americans who suffer these effects. This is heinous. What are you going to do with $1 billion in one transfer?
it's not enough money.
Yeah.
Enough money. So this is, a huge amount of money that we're talking about. And, Victoria, I'm so glad that you're going to do this with me on Tuesdays. We're going to just get together and we're going to talk at 1 o'clock. So what I want to say to all the folks out there who are tuning in and listening, let's team up. Victoria, I'd love to connect with you. We team up and have a bunch of sleuths. Let's write it up. Let's spread it. Let's like scream it from the rooftops, guys. This is a big, big deal. Victoria, you have uncovered a treasure trove, and this is stuff. This is right at your fingertips, guys. All you need,
Yeah.
computer screen and your thinking skills, and let's pull it up. Let's start asking questions, because this is what I've not understood, how we live in this state. And I've been in this state now for quite a while, and in the beginning it was like, I came in right as Lil Riker had passed the income tax thing.
Mm.
Always love Connecticut. This is my home. It's like I gotta stay here and fight for my home. I can't run
Yeah.
from this. I gotta fight.
People are like, just move. And I'm like, oh, but then what happens to everybody who's still there?
Exactly. And wherever you go, there you are. So we are in like the belly of the corrupted beast, really, when we think about where we are in Connecticut and how much money is it. Do you know how much money is in this state and power? And so when we look at the Lamont family, the Lamont empire, Annie Huntress Lamont she is really the governor because she's controlling the money. Because if she can take that much money, and that's just 1 month, right? That's not even, that's 1 month. So guys, I'm gonna go. Let me go. I'm gonna pull this back up for you to get the intensity of this. Look at this. This is just crazy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is such good work, Victoria.
Really, really juicy stuff. And, I tried to get this information out. I wanted to do it the right way. I knew that the laws of Medicaid were being broken, and I knew that I had been. If my illness was related to lollipops at CVS, I would have researched lollipops at CVS. I was just trying to understand why someone so sick who's worked. I got sober in 2011, November 17th, 2011. I worked my butt off to change my whole life. I became a psychotherapist. I went to therapy. I changed my world to become a better American. And then I get sick, and and I just couldn't, and I wasn't willing to let it go. I didn't think it was fair that while some of us are dying and can't pay our bills and can't feed our kids and can't even go outside, these guys are making $1 billion transfers in one day. But it did not start out as a dig on Annie Lamont. That I'm incredibly persistent. So I ended there, you know?
Uh,
And if I could, there was one post on May 12th. Do we have
I
time to do?
absolutely. We can do that.
I'm sorry, I know.
No, no, let's do it. Let me get on here first. Let me go. I'm going to switch guys. You're going to see the screen for a minute while we go and look for this here. Let me move this around. Oops, no, I didn't want to go on you, Victoria. There. Here we go.
Because it's about COVID-19, and I think it's a perfect example of what's been happen of how they do this
Okay,
and
what?
how it's continuing to happen. And yes,
We're looking for the COVID-19 May 30th. Which date was that?
May 12th. So you got to scroll down.
Yeah.
Not too far down, but it's the one that says embezzlement refers to a form of white collar crime in which a person.
Okay. We're coming up on there. So if I'm making you guys dizzy, just look away for the screen for a second. Almost there. She's been busy.
It's a graph, and it's got it's got a list, and it's bar lines.
I saw it earlier because I was looking at that before we went live. Let's see. May. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Daily Money. That's the title of that, right?
I think it's down one more. Daily Money. One more is since Friday, and then one more is the one. So embezzlement refers.
Embezzlement. I see it. I see it. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So so this is a great example of how this is actively going on. And so in the state of Connecticut, four we currently have four working COVID-19 related stimulus packages. We have COVID-19 title, excuse me, CARES Title 3 E and B. We have the Coronavirus Relief Fund, which is currently funding in-state employee travel. We don't have time to get on that.
Oh
We
my.
have the new NEFA program, which is National Endowment for the Arts. And then we have COVID-19 FEMA package. This entire package, now this picture is a picture of it's a summation of the vendors, the medical supply vendors. Here it says 50 plus. It's currently 77. So these are quote unquote companies that are receiving our federal aid money for the production of COVID-19 FEMA supplies. So and this graph's a little hard to see, but I'll read it. I'll read why it's so important. So take, for example, Sunrise Group of Canada. That is one of the companies, quote unquote, receiving our funds. Sunrise Group is not a medical supply vendor. It is a private capital investment firm based out of Hong Kong is it, excuse me, how do I say it? Ontario or Ontario? Ontario. Okay. Next one, Jack Rubenstein CT LLC is Catherine Barlow. She lives in the business is registered to her beautiful mansion in Glastonbury. She is a political powerhouse in Connecticut. Oh, she's worth millions. This is this is not a business. This is not a medical supply business. It is a shell stock company out of this woman's home where she's And so the Rossi Family Foundation does not exist. I've called these places. It's not like I'm just saying this, The Rossi Family Foundation is an entity located at 1100 Sharon Park, Midland, California. And it is a 1,200 square foot condo worth 1.3 million. Okay. Modern Plastic does not exist. The company is now the foreign stock entity is Pirate Industries, and it is the BLT Management is a privately held, vertically integrated real estate developer. A private equity firm based out of Stanford. Global Healthcare Product Solutions does not exist. Atlantic Equity Partners, LLC. It's a limited liability company for Atlantic Equity Partners. Now, there are so many private accounts, private pools of equity, hedge funds, real estate transactions. They
Oh, oh,
register these
oh,
yes.
sorry to interrupt you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I recognize one of those. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh my God, wait. Because you know what?
Schleens. Yeah. I mean, look at this one.
Celine,
Schleens Furniture.
that, do you know
What?
it's a little like this it's this storefront in Middletown that looks like something out of like a horror
Yeah.
movie. You're not buying a bed for Shalene's.
Yes. Now they'll tell you they give beds to the DOC. They make medical they don't. When you call the number that's listed, it's not Schleens Furniture, but they market whoever markets these, because they really have a phenomenal network of media in their pockets. And the Hartford Courant wrote a article about these companies, saying how they were going to help find, and I think it's actually I've definitely posted that article before, but they ran an article about how they listed these companies, that how they were helping us find hard to find N95 masks all across the world. These are shell companies. They are not real. These are.
This is a fraud, guys. Are you guys? Wow. That.
Yeah.
My,
And I just,
sorry,
and I really looked for faults in this was really hard for me to understand in the beginning. I cried a lot in the beginning, because I was like, this is not possible. This can't be going on. Someone would know, but I also am like a real computer nerd, like I fix them and I build them, and I know how to do a lot with computers. So I'm probably able to find more than the average bear, but I was blown away by it's like uncommon that they don't do this. This is, and
wow.
it's not the big numbers that blow my mind anymore. It's the updated care stimulus package came out on Friday, and I posted it, I think, a couple days. Yeah, I posted it on Saturday, I think. And I mean, while one group gets 12.6, higher education relief fund gets 12.6 billion, the entire Department of Agency of Air, the entire aging agency gets 200,000, man. And the entire program of WIC gets like 90 grand.
What?
Yeah, like it's not the big numbers that scare me anymore. It's the small numbers. Like, if you're so dead set on protecting the vulnerable, protecting the ill, protecting the sick, Well, why are you giving those people are not in the higher education department at UConn. They are in, they need help. And so this whole pandemic, as disturbing and horrible as it is, because I believe, I want to be clear, I know it's happening, and it's very scary and very sad for the families who are losing, and the businesses who are not allowed to open. But it's not because of what CNN and Fox are telling us. It's not because of the dangers, in my mind, of the disease. It's it's about money, and it's about sucking us dry for as much as they can while we suffer and while we lose. And they're not going to stop. Like I said, this has been going on for generations. Like Annie Lamont's great, 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 great grandmother, I'm sure. And so this is not a COVID problem. This is not a white money problem. When I looked at some of, and I had mentioned to you this to you quickly, and I know we're running out of time, but I looked at some of them, and I'm going to post this, but I was looking at some of the funding allotted to the Connecticut Police Association, Muni Police Training, state training, combat gear, DV, domestic violence kits, rape kits. I would say that since they started recording in 2011, Kevin Lembo started this open checkbook website. He's quite clean, I'll say. I've done a little digging on him, and he's okay. And I'd say maybe, and this is generous, since the start of that recording, 2 million for all that.
Wow.
Gear, training, personnel, kits, like, the police, they're getting there are reforms that need to happen, but it is not their fault. At the very core, who makes these policies? Who writes these checks? You're telling me you're going to get, for a span of 10 years, $2 million for all that training, all those. So these police, they're exhausted. They don't get training. They don't get help. And so they are also suffering the effects of this government fraud. And Black Americans, we're suffering in terms of money and job loss and security. They pay for this with their lives.
Yeah.
People are losing lives off this fraud. And I think it's really important to say that, they are corrupt they corrupt all parts of this.
Yes, no, they really have, and that's one of the things, and we'll end on that for today. But I want to leave people thinking about what we've just been talking about. And if you just tuned in and you want to see the video, it'll be uploaded. I'll have it on YouTube, so it'll be shareable outside of Facebook as well, so you could share it there. Come, let's do this together, because Victoria's given us some really great tips and has done incredible research at uncovering this, and it's been so much. You're a great interview. Thank you so much, Victoria.
And I was so nervous, but you're so wonderful. I was like,
Oh,
oh my gosh,
wonderful to have.
you are so lovely. Thank you. And thank you so much to everyone for listening and being, I know it's hard pills to swallow, but just being willing to read, to take time away from your families and yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I want to leave you guys on this note. We're going to be live with Victoria again next week at 1:00, same time. We'll just keep it regular and go digging down. And so open book. Remember this. And the guy that started that, he's clean because he gave us something, people. He gave us a tool. We have the power to bring this down. You, and I, and all of us together, black, white, gay, straight, all the people, we the people. Because you know what?
Right.
At the end of the day, The cops are underfunded. They're not trained well. Black Americans are abused and pay with their lives. These big honchos, these big rich billionaires bleeding our state dry that Victoria is unearthing for us. They are the enemy of the people. And I want you guys to think about that, ponder that, and hear that message, because these shysters are robbing us blind while they abuse our elderly, abuse the Black American population, abuse also the white American population, the Latino population. All the people are being abused and misused by this billionaire class who is robbing us blind, and you can go and see it for yourself. Thank you, Victoria, because what you've done is really, really amazing for unearthing this, and it was such a pleasure to have you today. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And you guys go check out Open Book, and you can see this. I'll be uploading. It's already on YouTube. I'll post links so you can share this outside of Facebook as well, because and it's also on BitChute. Just in case something happens, because you know how the governors talk to Zuckerberg, and then all of a sudden you're.
And feel free to look at literally I mean, I have so much more, but
Follow
so much of my work.
Victoria.
Yeah, everything is public, so feel free to look at my posts. Anybody who wants to reach out and ask questions, I'll post all my resources. None of this, I want everybody to research. None of this is my data. Please, you know.
Oh, thank you so much. So visit Victoria's page. She's happy to meet new friends, and follow her and go look at her work. And we'll be back next week talking about more of this. And let's do it, man. We got the power. Come on. We got it. We the people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.